Please take your seat.
Thank you.
Mr. PRADEEP,
Yes.
how are you feeling today?
Yes, sir. All the way.
So you have come all along from TAMILNADU.
Yes, sir.
So how is the climate in Delhi now?
It's quite comparatively different, sir, but I can manage.
Oh, very good. Right. Can you introduce yourself? We have a panel of members, eminent, our honorable members are here. So can you introduce yourself to the panel members?
Yes, sir. So my name is Pradeep Prakash. I was born and brought up in Chennai, where I've done my schooling, sir. I'm the first generation graduate in my family, sir. I went on to complete my engineering from Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering. I have done my graduation in electrical and electronics engineering in 2016. Post I'm preparing for civil service examinations.
Hobbies like yeah, thank you. So you got aesthetic bodybuilding.
Yes.
So any bodybuilding should have aesthetic, right? Bodybuilding doesn't mean lack of aesthetic. But when you're meaning specifically aesthetic bodybuilding, what is the meaning of this?
Sir, it is a subset of the bodybuilding, which is an upper ladder, sir. I think as rightly you have mentioned, sir, every particular bodybuilding will have the aesthetic content in that. But the quantum, which is very high with respect to aesthetic bodybuilding, sir. Sir, on the outlook, sir, bodybuilding focuses upon the mass and strength of the muscle, whereas aesthetic focus upon the strength and also the strength and conditioning, and also the looks of the particular muscle. So there are some muscles which has to be deliberately pushed forward so as to give that aesthetic look to the body.
How many hours you spend every day on bodybuilding?
So, sir, it is subjective with respect to the timing, sir. But right now, I'm spending 3.5 hours a day.
3 hours every day?
Yes, sir. Right now.
Oh, right now?
Yes, sir.
So if there is no exam, then you will spend I think 6 to 8 hours.
Yes, sir. I've added a lot of weights during the preparation for mains. So right now, I'm doing it.
Fine. And you are now following your foreign policy.
Yes.
So, the India foreign policy, is it flawed towards Myanmar? India has not raised any concern, flagged any red flag, anything.
Sir, as far as the turmoil situation which is existing in Myanmar, sir, as a responsible global power, and also the neighboring country within the status of that, sir, India has reiterated that democracy should be brought in within the nation as soon as possible, sir. And also, having said that, sir, the security situation which is existing in Myanmar is very closely related with the northeastern region of our nation, sir. So, in that particular thing, we are also having a dialogue with the military government which is existing, sir. I would say our foreign policy with respect to Myanmar is not flawed, sir. But it is rooted within the national interest.
You have generally explained. There is what is called Farist and Actist.
Yes.
Lookist and Actist.
Yes.
What is the difference between Lookist and Actist?
Sir, the very difference of the name coincides with the initiative that we take with respect to that region, sir. Lookist is something which is formulated way back, a decade back, sir. Far East is a continuous and extended version of Lookist, where renowned emphasis.
What kind of extension it comes in?
Yes, sir. Sir, as the three concentric circle goes, sir, so we have extended our foreign policies beyond the neighborhood region, which goes into the region of East, sir. So, Actist per se tries to emphasize that not just looking is enough, and acting towards East would go a long way in building our own capabilities and also building the goodwill across the region.
Foreign policy is always built on national interest.
Yes.
Right? You ultimately no permanent friend, permanent, but permanent interest. Yes. Well, what are our permanent interests with regard to Burma is concerned, Myanmar?
Yes, sir. So, the first thing I would try to mention is our security. Our security landscape, especially with respect to the northeastern region, is inextricably linked with the fortunes of Myanmar, sir. And also, sir, secondly, I would like to mention the people-to-people ties. For example, there is a free movement regime which exists between Myanmar and India, sir. We have its and ties relationship with respect to that, and that is the second thing. And third thing, sir, there are multiple terrorist outfits which works in northeastern region, take safe havens in Myanmar, sir. So, working closely with the Myanmar government can help us to beat out that particular outfits.
Right. That's very, very important, right?
Yes.
Separatist or other groups, terror groups that are operating, from their border.
So you have history as your awesome subject.
Yes.
These days, Subhash Chandra Bose is in news, and government is projecting also in a big way.
Yes.
Do you think we are promoting the right history vis-a-vis Subhash Chandra Bose to our children?
Yes, sir. Sir, Subhash Chandra Bose on outlook is a very visionary and important leader in our national struggle, sir. Though the pages of our history speaks about Subhash Chandra Bose in a certain good way, but I think renewed emphasis should be placed upon that particular kind of leader, sir. Not just Subhash Chandra Bose, sir. There are multiple leaders who fought hand in hand with the British so as to bring independence for our country, sir. I think the government initiative of furthering the aspects of Subhash Chandra Bose or Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel is a right step in right direction. So, because it would send out a message that independence has been a product and a framework which has been postulated by various leaders and not just limited to one particular set of
Who is it, one particular person?
Yes. Sir, on the outlook, sir, if generally the history books, in my perspective, has been largely inclined towards leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. So, though they have contributed enormous to the society, sir, there are multiple leaders as well, like Subhash Chandra Bose as well, sir.
But we should take the correct history.
Yes, sir. Sir, in the outlook, sir, to answer your question, sir, Subhash Chandra Bose has contributed greatly, sir. He talked about inclusivity within his army way back in 1940, sir. Even now, we are struggling to include women.
What was the name given by his 3 regiments?
Yes,
When he created the Azad Force?
yes, sir. So, one regiment for Rani Lakshmi Bai regiment, sir. Other 2 regiments are not able to recollect right now, sir. But he has included women forces into the army without any
Not women.
Okay, Mr. Pradeep. See, do you think in the era of technology we lost our privacy?
Sir, with the evolution of new technology, sir, there has always been a threat to our privacy, sir. But as a nation, sir, we have formulated many laws with respect to that. So, as a privacy, though it has been threatened, I would not call it as being lost, sir. But yes, sir, as having said that, sir, we are facing some threats, sir. We will come up with solution for that.
Okay, Pradeep. Okay, see, we crossed nearly 70 years after independence, right? Do we need still reservation for the so-called downtrodden or the backward people or the economically weaker sections of the society?
Yes. Sir, a reservation has been given to for the historical injustice that faced in the past, sir. Even after 75 years, sir, incidents of social discrimination with respect to caste is happening all around the country, sir. As far as the constitutional provisions also, reservations can be extended to a certain period, timely, sir. And I think right now the time is not right to weed out reservations, sir. Probably taking out some initiative to bring the inclusivity within the nation could go a long way. And on the very far trajectory, sir, the reservation can be weed out in a long run, sir. But right now the time is not right in my opinion.
Okay, see, recently in Tamil Nadu, the governor and the government are in tender books. And the governor is said to skip to the prepared text of the government. Is it constitutional for the governor to do so?
Sir, there have been instances in the past also, sir, where the governor has skipped the speeches prepared by the legislature, headed by the chief minister, sir. And sir, if I'm not exactly aware of the constitutional provision with respect to that, sir, but there is a sub-provision called 17 in that particular conduct of business rules, sir. That particular thing, the text which is imbibed in the written format can be included in the legislative speeches.
My last question.
Yes.
So you are from Mylapore, right?
Yes.
If you have been appointed as a district magistrate for your region,
Yes.
okay, what are the steps you will take, or what are the areas you need to address?
Yes. So, firstly, sir, the tourism potential of Mylapore is very high, sir. It has been a home to many several churches, temples, and mosques, sir. But the existing region, which is out of the tourist potential, is very less. So, I would try to take steps so as to bring Mylapore as a cultural hub, sir. First thing, and secondly, there are a lot of slum development corporations also which is existing, sir. There are some basic facilities which is lagging in these particular regions, sir. I would try to beat out that particular problem. And thirdly, sir, comparatively over the past decades, sir, the playing ground in the region of Mylapore and the surrounding region has been in a diminishing mode, sir. I would try to take out some steps so as to bring some play field to the children for a healthy development. I think these are the three things that I would do.
Okay, Pradeep,
Yes.
how will you explain one paradox in your DAF
Yes.
that you are too much interested in following our foreign policy,
Yes.
but you don't want to go abroad to serve as an IFS officer?
Sir, I would say I would not say that I'm not interested in working in foreign policy, sir. But I went through the job profile of various services given listed, sir. I feel, sir, Indian Revenue Service, apart from administrative and police service, offer a lot of scope and opportunities to grow as a personality, sir. I think given an opportunity to work as a foreign service.
No, you have technically ruled it out.
Sir, I would not say that it's been technically ruled out, sir, because it's depend on the preference of other candidates as well, sir.
So do you think that you may get IFS with preference 5 in your service preference list?
Yes, sir, it may happen, sir. Though the likelihood of is very less, it may happen, sir.
Okay, in terms of percentage, if you have to put,
Sir, I'm not knowing the exact
Not
percentage of it, sir, but the likelihood is very less, sir, comparatively, but still there is a chance.
okay. So you said that, in IRS, you can sharpen your personality better than IFS.
Yes.
So in what way? What you can transform through IRS, which you cannot transform through IFS?
Yes. Sir, having said that, sir, both the services can help me to shape myself better, sir. With respect to the Indian Revenue Service that I've opted, sir, I've opted customs excise to be the third preference, sir. I had word with certain officers who is existingly working in that particular area, sir. They have two verticals with respect to the customs and excise, sir. And also the population, with respect to the population of India, and also India is touted to become the third largest economy by 2030, sir. I think the scope of Indian Revenue Service will be very high.
Scope wise, no. You said that it will help you shape your personality better.
Yes, sir. I meant in a way that I can contribute to the nation building even by working in Indian Revenue Service.
Okay. You have done electrical and electronics engineering from a very reputed engineering college.
Yes.
In India, we have very high dose or degree of transmission loss in electricity.
Yes.
What are the reasons and where lies the possible solution?
Sir, as far as the transmission losses is considered, sir, the losses can be differentiated into technical and commercial losses, sir. With respect to the technical losses is considered, sir, there are certain wirings which uses HVDC, sir, which is high voltage direct current. There is a large possibility of current getting leakage in that particular thing, sir. And coming to the commercial loss.
No, let's focus on technical aspect itself, since you are an engineer.
Yes.
So tell me that if we switch over to high voltage transmission, we can minimize significantly.
Yes.
What is holding us not to make a switch over?
Yes. So we have already converted a majority of HVDC lines into HVAC, sir. There are some certain remaining aspects also because it is an overlaying cable, sir. There are some costs associated with that and multiple technical issues also should be addressed, sir. We as a nation are formulated to convert the transmission lines into HVAC, so the work is going on in progress right now, sir. I think in a long way it can be minimized.
How much time you feel, where we will say that high voltage transmission we have completely switched over?
Sir, I don't know about the exact timeline which has been given to that, sir. But government through several initiatives have been working on the same.
Can we think of underground, cabling?
Yes. Sir, even that underground cable is currently in progress, sir. For example, the connectivity with the island nations have been, island states have been included in that particular, sir. But as far as the undergrounds are concerned, sir,
what technical challenge can be there if we have, rather than overhead, underground, high voltage transmissions?
So the maintenance cost would be high with respect to underground, so because if there is a faulty lines or technical discrepancy with respect to that, we have to dig that and take out the lines, and also it would affect the flow of works which is happening in the ground, sir. I think in this particular regard, it would take it's a time-consuming process.